Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Professor Angela Chen.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon, everybody. Okay, today the lecture, Industrial Psychology lecture series, the second lecture series, Industrial Psychology. Okay, wait. For a moment. Okay. Today the topic for today is job analysis, understanding work and work tasks. Okay. Maybe I want to share information about the brief CV of Professor Chen. Yeah, she's associate professor in Department of Industrial and System Engineering at Chung Christian University, and she got her PhD Industrial Engineering Management in UAJxCYCU University, and then MBA in University of Houston, USA, and BIC in University of British Columbia, Canada. These are some interests of Professor Angela: project scheduling, service system, portfolio, and multi-criteria decision-making applications. And then these are some awards that Professor Angela achieved, the achievement, yeah, of Professor Angela, a best paper until the outstanding service award, yeah, Nanya Institute of Technology. Okay. For time and floor is yours, Professor Angela.
Okay. Well, today I'm going to thank you, Ronald, for introducing me. And today I'm definitely going to keep it under 1 hour because last time kind of went over a little bit. But anyway, let me just share the screen, right? So
Yes,
let me share the screen for now. Here we go. Okay, so I guess everybody can see me right there.
Yes.
And the title. Okay, Ronald, are they the same groups? Okay, are they the same groups that as last time? No, not really. Yeah, can you hear me? Oh, okay. Your microphone is off, but anyway.
Okay, yes. Oh, sorry.
That's okay. So are they the kind of same group? Because I was just wondering. Not really?
Not really, I think.
Okay.
Yes. This is the same group with last talk.
Okay.
Yes.
Thanks. Okay, then I'll just quickly, because it was like probably 2 weeks ago that we talked about the future HR, how it looks like. So last time we get to know a little bit of what HR really is and how the difference between the strategic HR, and also at the end we were a little rushed off in terms of talking about how HR strategically changed into what we are reviewing as human capital management. And so basically, we come to the conclusion that HR is important, especially right now, because the people are assets. They are the greatest resource. And that in terms of the traditional HR, we were probably doing the selection, job analysis. We do orientation, onboard training, and we even talk, traditional HR will focus on the pay structural and the incentive to come up with so that we can attract more talent and so on. But that's what traditional HR is focused on. But then the strategic HR actually focusing on how to formulate some kind of strategic plan in terms of how to acquiring some of the talents, and that they can fit into the organization's structure, like organization goal. But then we call HR, or human capital management, view us like human, like us as an employee differently. We look at it as not all individuals are equal, and we are uniquely different, and therefore they focus how to improve on each of us, and that they by investing maybe on board training or even some others education or experience kind of things. So those ones are what's going really happening now with some of the enterprises. And we also talked about last time the trends, and the trends for sure, if you notice that recently, all the news broadcasting was talking about how they have such a difficulty of hiring the right person at the right job. Or so basically we know that the nature of work, okay, or the industry, labor industry has been changing. It's no longer, in a way, it's a two kind of forces that is sort of a struggling or pulling each other. After the COVID, or what's really going on right now, is that we as a labor, like employee, has more saying power. We probably notice that our concept of work, or the nature of care job, has been changing, and that we are probably in replacement of all the robotic kind of work. But yet we realize also there are some fundamental jobs that really require human. So by realizing that some of the laborers or employee have more power of saying that we want to get our benefits or even just the salary raise and so on. At the same time, the organization or companies realize that there are some jobs that can be replaced by the robot, or we call automation, so that in case if there is any labor shortage, they will not get into companies' trouble. Okay, so basically, overall, we must say that definition of work, we need to rethink about what and how it is. So if you recall this report by the economics, and I think it's a very good, the report done by this economist, that they pointed out two or three things. One of the things that I really have remember vividly is that how the technology has transformed our definition of work. Yet for us, how we have been, our preference, maybe I would say, have been changed as well, so that there is a so-called gig economy coming, and that there are some jobs that are requiring some talents. Okay, and these talents are actually defined by really very, I would say, a very special way, because you can see some talents that has a unique job requirement, which is later on we're going to talk about the job analysis. Then they can get a higher pay, whereas I would say require not so much we call entry level kind of position, still needs still able to get a higher pay as well. But there is also another part of the situation where we have people with a good talent, but yet they misplaced. Okay, so this is kind of a chaos right now that everybody's trying to fit in to what type of job and the talent. Like we are kind of matching each other in terms of how this work and how this talent us can be matched rightfully, so that everybody gets happy, I would say. Okay, so the future talent factory, towards the end, I think it will be no longer just between the companies or the employee itself. We also need to consider the demographic factor or economic value of it. I think last time I went through a little bit roughly or rushly about how, for example, in Taiwan, we had our demographic have changed. Our population's aging, and I don't know if that goes the same with people from Vietnam or Indonesia or even Malaysia, Asian country, because I think for us the aging population really affects our work structure. A lot of jobs that is still, like the people who are probably older people, well, in one way they're happy that they don't have to retire early, but in another way they facing the challenge of, I would say, technical kind of level or knowledge or skill type, because they are obviously not as updated with the knowledge or skill that the present job or their work has been requiring them. So they are facing that, should I, take the pressure and to upgrade my skill? Can I do it? Because they're, old enough, not being able to pick up very quickly. So I think the future talent factory here, focusing on two ways. One is the young people like you guys, and the other one is the old people. If your society is facing same as the old age type of problem, then we will see that people who are maybe about 60 or 70, almost towards the retirement age, so how they can stay in the workforce yet be able to make themselves useful. Okay, so something like that will be a challenge or issue that everybody will facing. And today, because of that, I think job analysis is very important, because knowing that what exactly in a particular, we call job title, for example, that job title, that all the duty that we are supposed to carry out, and that will really helpful. That will really be helpful in terms of how we can assign or designate certain kind of task to the right people. And that imagine that on the imagine that all of you guys will be graduating pretty soon, and you will probably be looking for a job. And I don't know how you guys, when you guys are looking at the job ads, what do you think of the job ads? The job posting, I mean, can they clearly give you specific information on what type of work that you will be working for, or and etc. So anyway, and so hopefully today, by knowing or understanding what job analysis is, and related some example that I will be providing to you, and you will be able to get an insight on what you should look for, next time if you're trying to look for a job and looking at the job posting, then you kind of probably know what to look for. Okay, so these are the basic job analyzing procedures. And first, we go by the organizational chart, and then we go by the job analysis and job description and job specification. And if you look at this flow chart, you will see that there is a trend that starting from the general to very specific. So basically each job for, I would say for all the organization, it is very important that you whatever the job opening, it got to fit into the company's mission or purpose or the needs, right? So it's naturally that we need to know that that specific job belongs to which department in the organization. So organizational chart will provide us information in terms of what this, job position open and where does it fit. For example, for me is like quality. If you're applying for a quality control area, QC person, then most likely your position will be opening up in the Department of Manufacturing, or even if your organization has an R&D center, then you will probably be, placed in that area. Okay, so organization will have many departments that each department will open up some of the position, depends on their needs. And then going to the next basically procedure is that each department, they will fill in their requests in terms of what kind of personnel they need. And that really goes to, or that what kind of needs they need to fulfill will depend on each department. For example, in the production department, they probably will know if they should open up to a position where people are in a more of supervising the whole operation line, or should I just open up for a position that is only for the operator. So the procedure for determining the duty and the skill requirement is fall actually on the each department, the functional department, instead of the overall like HR department. If you recall last time, I mentioned that the HR department are more into more like a staff position, like a consulting kind of a position where each functional department should be the main focus. They should know clearly of what type of people they want, so that HR will help them to get the people. So the job analysis really fall into each functional department. And then, so usually what happens is that the functional department will basically will list out all the criteria, okay, that they need, or the duty that they will perform, etc. And those ones we call the job description. So they will provide a brief, or it depends on the company. Sometimes it will be in the more detail. But the thing is that a lot of company will always use, it's very rare that they will review it annually, because those for them it's just a routine job. So a lot of time they will just pull out from the history of, any document that they had in the from the past, and then review it very quickly as to what this if this job description apply. And that's a little sad, because a lot of time I think to be more specific, people change, like we said, the nature of work change as well. So I think because a lot of functional department has many things to do, so this kind of updated into the job description kind of work is the least things on their mind. But at the end, the result is that you may not hire the right person that you need. Okay, so the job description here, I think nowadays we should focusing on is It's more of the work condition and supervisory responsibility, especially. Okay, and that what are the responsibility or obligation that you have to do with this job title or with this job position, and what kind of a condition that you will be dealing with, and what are the expectation that you need to have, okay, or you need to prepare yourself for. Okay, so then finally, these are most very specific. Okay, so that's why we call specific cation. Okay, so those ones are more like a qualification, I would say, in terms of who you are hiring, even the education background, and some job even require as a age-wise, requirement, because if you need to lift up something that very heavy, you got to be young and fit, right? And or if you need to someone with, for example, we say data analysis, then you got to have a background of knowledge of maybe statistics or mathematics or even coding, any kind of computer language, that. So those are very specific, but those ones, okay, the requirement that I just mentioned, not usually not listed in the job description yet. So job description is more or less of what you will be doing, what you will be facing, but specification is more of the qualification. These two are slightly different, and you probably need to probably need to understand a little bit and tell the difference. Okay, so here is the steps in job analysis. So if you start doing it, what should we really do? Well, for one, you need to collect some information. And the information, when we're talking about job analysis, we really just try to bear in mind that we're trying to, for example, in the existence work position, we're trying to make it into a more concrete or more clear aspect of it. So, or improve of some kind of work efficiency in that sense. Then or sometimes even create a new job. Okay, new job kind of style, position, and so on. Then we really need to think what kind of data that we need to collect. Okay, so if it's a new job, usually it takes some kind of challenge, because this is a job that's never happening in your company before, but it seems like you need that position. I don't know if it happens in your country, but then in Taiwan, for example, in TSMC, they actually, I think it was probably half a year ago or a year ago, that they just started a new center. And this center, or even they change a little bit on the organization. Like, for example, the industrial engineering aspect of it, they change it into a more, if I remember correctly, I will translate it in the English way. It's called operation, like operation, business type of thing. So the IE, like us, the background, there's no longer there's a clear IE department, whereas the production itself, they combine the production with the operation into a sort of like a business operation type of the concept. So they really just try to merge because of how the everything's going on. So they really upgrade, okay, or reorganize their job, job title or job function, okay, so that it can fit into their, the company's strategy goals more clearly. So, so how to collect them? Well, then that's one good questions. So I think from what I've observed, or my experience tells me, that a lot of time we're looking into more of the company's data structure. So we will be looking at what are type of people that we are short of, and how are the work is being required by our customers, and who are the people that to go and deal with, and so on. Okay, so those ones are one of the ways to collect the information and do some analysis and decided on whether we really should whether we really should how we train, or whether we really should start a new job or new work for that. Okay, so those ones are the steps in a job analysis. And so earlier when we look back into this flow chart here, we talk about organizational chart and job analysis. So really, what's the relationship between them? Okay, so basically job analysis is more like in terms of job analysis is more like a workflow analysis. So how does these two, they related together? Let's look at the definition or information first. So workflow analysis is like a flow of work from job to job. So it's basically if you have a concept of production, process, it's basically like a station to station. So we really look at how the sequence or flow of each job that we need to get it done. So sometimes we need to think through if one job is repetitive, or sometimes if is a correct flow. Okay, so that goes to, for example, streamline. Okay, so sometimes we need to streamline with that. I think all of you guys are students, so one of the experience that you guys have will be, for example, every year semester when school starts, you need to do the registration, pay the tuition, etc. And I don't know if you guys can recall like which station, what first job, what first thing you need to do, the task. So this is kind of like that. Okay, so you can see that, okay, well, what should I do first, and then what go next? And a lot of time, if you're not familiar, or if you are the first time newcomers, and you will probably make a lot of redundant, repetitive or wasteful steps, right? And or sometimes when you are you maybe come across with a procedure that you think it can be actually shortened, or it can make even a lot simpler. Okay, so workflow analysis actually before the job analysis. So we're looking at the whole thing, and we focus on what needs to be accomplished, and what does each steps or each jobs that needs to come out. Okay. And I'm just giving you guys an example here. This is a department, or the production department, and the related to the material management aspect. So you can see with before we done any job analysis, we need to look at in terms of the material management. Okay, if it's in the material management department, for example, what what are the major steps or workflow is. You can see that there are 3 receive items, and then you basically configure, and then you ship. Okay, so within these two, and we break down into specific jobs that needs to accomplish, okay, in order to finish at this stage. And for example, if I pick that the quality lab is one of the very important aspects when we are doing the material managing, okay, or managing the material. Either we are shipping out, or we are getting all the raw material in. The QC is always very, very important. So let's look into this QC part. So then we will be looking into a more detailed, like the QC lab part, and we can see that there will be many, many steps. I'm just picking out 2, the IQC and IPQC. And so with this flow, we will see that there is a material received. If it's an IQC, then there's a material received, so that's a job. And then quality needs to be checked. And if it's passed, if not, then we need to go back and then to contact the supplier, etc. So those ones are, we call the job analysis. And then in that, we will evaluate either by many other ways. Later on, we were talking about, and to see if how long does it take, or what's the KPI, etc., the performance measurement, etc. So that's an IQC. If you're in a position of doing this, and if you're doing the IPQC, then there will be different job tasks, okay, that you will be needed to accomplish. Okay, so something like you need to do a production notification, and you need to arrange it. And then again, you need to do a first checks. Okay, and then to see if it's okay, or if it's not okay, then you need to report if it's not okay. And what do you need to report here? Of course, you have a standard rule or SOP. Okay, things like that. Okay, so those ones are, we call a more production side. So let me just give you an example if you're in an HR department. Okay, so if you're in an HR department, just like this courses we're talking about, then what kind of specific job you're really doing and the workflow? We all know HR is in charge of recruiting, right? So here is, before we really hiring, usually the first thing we need to do is to give our job posting, right? So what we should do before the job posting is on. So what we need to do is to define a job description and so on. So those ones are, we call job, the task. Okay, so overall, the whole flow, and you can see with the hiring, there are so many stages. Okay, the blue one is basically all the action that we need to do. Okay, so all this. So then we will evaluate the whole process here. How long does it take? Okay, is there any specific, job, the stage that we that go particularly vulnerable to go wrong, so that we get the wrong talents sometimes, or not, or etc., or not be able to get the right person, or and so on. Okay, so those ones are the particular things when we are trying to do the job analysis. Okay. And organizational structuring just means that in terms of how our job analysis fits into the organizational structuring, usually it's like we have the two dimensions here, one horizontal and vertical, but the horizontal is more like a department, like I said, functional department. And the vertical is more like a line of authority, meaning who is in charge, who has the responsible, who you are responsible to, or who you can be delegates your job to. Okay, something like that. So basically, there are two dimensions. One is horizontal, the other one is vertical. So here is an example, but it's not exactly a clear example. Here you can see that organizational structure shows very clearly right here that, for example, each staffing department meaning functional department, okay, that they start up with what kind of job they needed. And then the HR department is the helpful. Okay, so it's like this. Okay, so then with the earlier I say with the vertical, like the line of authority will be more like this for this each staff department. Who, for example, if it's in the manufacturing department, so who should be starting with filling out the requirement form first, and then move to the hand it into the HR department. So what should HR do then? Okay, etc. So all those are how this example just shows how the organizational structure fits with the job analysis. Okay. And here is another example of giving you, if you're working as a control clerk, okay, what you need to do here is that you will be taking all the data or all the information from your supplier and as well as your plan manager, right? And then processed into, or then, to report maybe out to your plan manager, and also maybe regarding the component or something kind of report and so on. Okay, so basically as a QC worker, okay, what you need to do is to get information from your supplier and getting tested, and your plan manager may ask you sometime that we need to change a production line, you need to adjust the line, maybe some kind of gauge or requirement, and that you need to test it, come up with the report if this line is their production capability is good enough, and or how this quality is the product quality is, and so on. Then your report will be back into the plan manager and so on. Okay, so with that example here, you can see that the organizational chart will be in within among the department, production department, yet the line of authority will be the plan manager to the QC clerk. Okay, something like that. And the job description or job analysis here is clear, is that what you do with getting the information from the suppliers, and what you do as to do the analysis, and what you do as the output. So there will be three basic job or duty that you need to carry out. Okay, so how to collect the job analysis information here? Well, earlier we were talking about collecting all the data, right? So I said one of them is to dig out all the history, okay, and so on. But there are, in fact, there are many others, and there are some by observation. Like this is all if we are trying to reorganize or redefine, or even opening up a new sort of a job and so on. So usually what we will do is to being observant. Okay, so sometimes we'll be recording, and like especially this works on the operation line. Sometimes we use a camera to film, okay, to record the operator, they're doing each steps do they follow. And or sometimes we're not recording, but we literally being there, physically being there, observe, and we are able to ask some questions if it's necessary to get something straightened out. Those ones are very direct, okay? And the indirect one will just be recording, and then you were watching the video afterwards, something like that. And sometimes we will also design a sort of a set of form. For example, if it's like a QC, then we will have all the checklists, right? And then we will just go input, directly and saying, okay, well, defect, and then we will have a short description on what happened and stuff like that. Those ones are, we call the participant diary or logs. Okay, but the question or the problem is sometimes if the person, the operator, they are not trained for it, they may be in some inconsistency or some unclear clarity, maybe, and then you kind of need to sort things out. And also there is sometimes a lot of time actually we were using the questionnaire, okay, and or even a group interview that we call focus groups. But this is very time consuming when it comes to interview with the groups. Usually what this is that we will still have a preset of sort of structured questions that we want to particularly ask. and that we will record whatever their feedback give it to us, and then we will pick out the things that they mention repeatedly, or people like they cared, they mention it many times, then obviously they will be very important, something like that. And with the focus groups, sometimes it's very the challenge, I would say, is that sometimes in a small groups, maybe there's one person who is very dominant, and then they probably say something that um, will basically, I would say, will take the control of all the sort of direction as to what the interviewer intended to. Then the whole interview will be off focus. So doing a focus groups really is a challenge if you're not very experienced. It's very easy to just being off focused. Okay, and another one is what is very common right now is called equipment-based methods. Okay, this is basically just how we are using IoT right now. We're just putting certain sensors that into certain equipment or certain area that we want to measure or we want to collect the data. Okay, so equipment-based methods and so on. And so I think that's the few major ones that I can think of. And well, let me just show you this example. This is a very common PAQ, and this is proposed or developed by this scholar Ernest McCormick. Okay, and very old, a very long time ago, but it is popular because it's very comprehensive. And it actually based on the concept of we call SOR, meaning that an organism that they receive the stimulus and to make a response. So basically, it responds to us as we are receiving some kind of stimulus, some kind of challenge, and how we respond it. So this is an example of the questionnaire. This is just one part of it. Here it shows the extent, okay, of that. And this one is the source of the job information, okay. And this is one of the topic that is on the visual, particularly on the visual source of the job description or job information. And these parts are the rating. So 4, for example, meaning considerable. So this question asks that under the some of the written material here, do you use it a lot? So here, number 4 just means considerable, meaning quite a bit. Okay, something like that. And with that PAQ things here, so PAQ overall consists this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 major parts. Okay, so the first one, the example I just give it to you is just one part right here. And with this part information input, there are 2 subdivisions. So the example that I just showed you, this is only one part of it. Okay, so in terms of measuring in terms of any job that we have information input, and we consider 2 things. Okay, so the source of job information, we particularly talk about here is the visual source. Okay, so in that we say the use of the written material. So this is just an example right here. Okay, and so can you imagine that there are 6 parts, and each part are quite few questions. So overall, believe or not, the total questions is, I think, I don't know if they updated, but then as far as I remember, it was there were like 194 questions. So I think over the year, they must be updated or changing some. So it's probably 200, probably. Okay, so there are a lot. Okay, a lot of questions that needs to be filled in. Okay, so here, an example, for example. Okay, so in terms of under the extent of use, Okay, and if we are measuring by touch, measuring, how we use this material, for example, your computer, for example. So then I will ask you, on your job, do you use computer? Okay, how do you use computer? Touch? Well, because some job, particularly some actions, okay, we using by touch and we by press and all those. Okay, so those ones here are more these ones are more like a human factor area, like ergonometry that we if you're interested, and those ones are the ones that we sometimes there's another part of research that's done. How there's certain things we touch so many times or press so many times, I don't know if it's very hurtful or damaging or something to your body or something. But there are some things like if you're constantly need to lift up, well, that's obviously extent of use, right? And then it may cause some physical damage in terms of occupational hazard or something. Okay, so here those ones, the one that I highlighted blue here are just an example of the items that we evaluate. So importance to the job, for example, okay, analyzing the information of data, do you think that's important? Then there's an extent from 0 to 5, okay, and so on. For example, special codes like education. Okay, and we normally now we don't particularly asking for certain like a gender or races because that's very controversial, right? But there are some jobs that need it. For example, if you're working as a social worker, okay, and sometimes you need to go in order to blend it in or to ask or to be able to help out. Sometimes you need to require some type of race, like for example, Asian. You need to be able to speak to that language, right? And something like that. So special code will be, one thing that we need to evaluate as well. Okay, so in this case here, education, okay, and so on. So these ones are really input in the PAO. Okay. Okay. Well, I don't know about time now, but then I think I'll finish this research. And this is one of the research I found, and I think it's very interesting because I think this is something that I look forward to. I myself carry on too, but this is done in the U.S. It's actually called Healthcare Data Science Qualification Skills and Job Focus. And I think this topic is interesting because you know how nowadays we call big data, and data science is very, very popular now. But in terms of different industry here, we healthcare, okay, what type of qualification skills or even jobs that they do, if you want to work as a data science or if you are a data science but you're working in a different industry. Okay, so here how do they find out or understand what kind of a qualification they needed? The method they're using is actually called
Em thì đang lo
con trai bao giờ nhức ngón tay từ khi
mưa rơi, ngày mình đi với nhau ấy là ngày đẹp trời thì
về nhà luôn có mẹ nhớ mẹ con trai trung tâm trừ khi mẫu dây nó thích con bé thì mẹ là chủ cả tối ngày đứng bên nhau chờ làm cơn mưa rơi năm tháng âm thầm sao cơn mưa này chưa ngơi mà đã từng có một người luôn cười khi anh đến nhưng bây giờ trôi về đâu ngày xưa ơi mưa sầu hát trên góc phố đường đêm buồn tên em đã từng quên đi tình đầu.
Okay, so
Mưa sầu hát trên góc phố đường đêm buồn tên em đã từng quên đi tình đầu ai đưa em về qua từng khúc.
Okay.
maybe from Vietnam, maybe there is some
Yeah, I
problem.
think so. I would appreciate it if you can shut your microphone off or, Okay, great. So I will just start it again, but let me, I don't know what happened with this, this things. Okay, it goes a little.
Maybe you can
No, I think someone is taking control.
yes. Wait.
Okay.
Yeah, someone taking control maybe. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe
Okay.
you can
Because I
maybe
cannot exit at all somehow.
yes. Okay. Okay, maybe I will stop screen. Okay, maybe you can share your
Oh,
screen.
now it goes back. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, but I somehow can you see my screen?
Not yet.
Okay. Let me do this again. How about here now?
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
Good. Okay, guys, I appreciate it. Okay, let me quick. Okay, well, I will try to be on time. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Cool. Vietnam, cool. I went there too. Okay. So anyway, I went there and I loved it too. Okay. They're such a nice people.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So can I start? Okay, I'll just start. And then the healthcare. And so basically what they did is that they are using content analysis method. Okay. So it's very not like okay. Okay. It's very unlike what we are expecting the method before, right? But then they are actually using the content analysis. So let me show you what they do. Okay, what they did actually here. Oh, but I need to get, hold on. Let me get this. I will not. Okay, let me share this again, screen, okay? Can you see it now? Okay. Okay, here. Basically, what they did is that there are three phases. The first one is they prepare, it's like a preparation phase. What they did was that they are collecting all the job posting. Okay, so all the job posting related to the healthcare, so they collected. So all of them are actually text, text writing and so on. So they getting all the data and then they analyze this with the keywords. So it's like a text mining kind of things. And then in the second phase, okay, so all the job posting that they did, they come up with all the text, the important keywords, phrases, and so on, right? So they extract it, and then they organize it in this two way. One is the inductive approach, the other one is deductive approach. So what it means is that inductive approach meaning they try to categorize them. Okay, so all those texts that they come up with, they extract, they try to classify and give them a category, and then they use up here they abstract it and they give a category of each individual, and then they give a coding. So with this, they are breaking down into, after they sort of categorized it, they give each category a specific skill matrix that they need, and then they give rule to match them, and so on. So that's called deductive approach. So basically what they did was one inductive approach categorize them, and then they try to decode with or specified each within each category what exactly they need to do. And then after that, they had a report. Okay, so here is the report right there. So with this, okay, can you tell me, well, everybody, well, I don't know if you can tell me, but then you can definitely type in the message, right? So let's see, can you tell me which organization hire the most of the data science? Which organization needs the most data science? Okay, under this, right here. It's actually not academia. If you're from here, you can see it's actually vendor that exhibit the highest rate. So vendor, what exactly that means? That means something like a commercialized, like a company that doing all the medical, Medicare stuff. Okay, those kind of vendors. Sometimes it can be a supplier. For example, if you have a high blood pressure measurement, you know, there are some equipment nowadays that are very creative. Those ones we call vendors. Okay, merchant or companies. And what about if you are thinking of being as a data science, especially in the healthcare, what degree should you hold? What kind of degree should you hold? Well, you will see there are at least the majority right now, okay, the most people who are working in this area are at least a bachelor or even the master, right? Okay, so so that just tells you what the job workforce, like labor market right now. But if you are working at a different level, for example, here, okay, obviously the education level, or I mean degree level, they did not show us in very detail as to does this has anything related to the job level. Okay, or even the job focus area. But here we can see that data science, for example, are the highest. People who work in this, they are data scientists. And that with the job focus here, they are focusing more on the performance improvement. So meaning the QC, okay, I would say how they are doing and so on, etc. So, and then in terms of the degree level here, in terms of degree level, we can see that with the PhD, the most of them are more of a postgraduate study, and that PhD is still pretty high, I would say. Okay, so but majority, what we can conclude is that being as a healthcare data science right now, at least you need to hold a master degree with a related job, and then most of the job that you will be working with, or the job description will say, will be the improvement of your anything product performance. Okay. So anyway, and then also they need to, they did a the 20 skills. Okay, they did a research on that, and we can see with the data science, what type of specific skills that they need. And overall, you can see what you need is statistical background, and you need the knowledge for R and etc. And interesting is that you even need a storytelling skill. Okay, that what does that mean? That means that once the data is on, you need to be able to describe and understand and give an insight on what this numbers tells us. Okay, so you can so the top count right here indicates that overall. Okay, overall, I would say the situation. Okay, so that's it. And so today, what we did or what we talked about is that how the job analysis related to our specific work done, and how we can do a job analysis, how we collecting it, okay, and so on. And I guess we will stop here, and thank you. Okay, any questions? I'm opening up for questions.
Okay, thank you, Professor Angela, for
Yeah.
your sharing.
Okay.
Any question from the students, from Indonesian student or maybe from Vietnamese students, please? You can raise your hand, please. Maybe I have a question, Professor Angela.
Okay.
To initiate the questions.
Yes.
Okay. I'm wondering about the role of the big data analytic in job analysis. I have
Yes.
experience with my students with final project that a company want to conduct the job analysis, but the company there is no data, sufficient data. So I propose to the students to get the data from big data, yeah, from the internet. For examples, yeah, for production manager, you
Yes.
can grab the data from maybe LinkedIn about the job spec and then job specification. In the vacancy is many data, right? A lot of data about the job specification of the certain job. Is it okay, or in your opinions, what do you think about this method to get the data to conduct the job analysis? You said that you use like a questionnaire, and then you have to have an interview or maybe another method. But can I have the data from the big data from the internet?
Okay, good. I think I should jot down your question based on my past experience. Last time I didn't jot down, so I didn't really kind of remember all the questions that I was asked. But anyway, I think that's a good idea for getting some of the data from open source, or even you need to crawl some of the data. And if you're talking about the job related to specifically on the job analysis, I think there are two aspects you can consider. One is the one that you said, getting the data, like for example, operation manager. Okay, and you're getting the job description, specification, whatever from the LinkedIn. I think that's a very smart way, like very professional way, because those ones, a lot of time they post it on the language they use, and the very punctual, like very exact, and so on. But I would also curious about, in fact, when you are whatever, for some whatever reason they really hire the people, okay, do they really actually carry out all whatever that's specification they were listed? So I would say that getting the LinkedIn, getting the information from the LinkedIn, and then using the text mining and do the analysis is great. But I would say even better if somehow you can get a sort of a real case, okay, in terms of your specification. If you if you find out few criteria, and then you can get a real case to see if they actually match, I think that would be even better. So I would definitely think that's a smart way. Yeah, especially getting a real people, to really cooperate with you. Sometimes I think that's the most challenged one, actually. Nobody likes to be filmed.
Yes, because maybe the company will post about the job, the updated skill, the updated knowledge, yeah. So the job holder have like that one. So of course we have to get a survey, and then we like to fit to the real case, right? Yeah.
Yes.
To fit to the real case in the company. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True. Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Professor.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Any other question from the students, please? Rainer is actually Rainer have graduated from industrial engineering.
Oh.
Yes, but no, he works in Atmajaya as international officer.
Oh,
So
okay.
yes, international officer. Okay, Renner, any question?
Thank you very much, Pak Ronald, the Dean of Faculty of Engineering, to introduce me to the professors. And yes, I'm also part of the Industrial Engineering faculty in Atmajaya. And right now, I'm also a student again
Oh,
in the
cool.
master level, but hopefully I can pursue my PhD degree soon. But anyway, I also interesting about the informations and about the topic, today's topic. So actually during these days, actually what I know is in HR department, especially actually my friends just told me about the conditions though. It's not really related with the job analysis, job descriptions and everything. So it's just about the relations between the boss and the staff, So it's
True.
yeah, because we talk about the topic related with the job analysis and etc. So I just wondering to get the point of view from you professors about the reality conditions about in fact the current situation in the, we can say in the, like something like the company for us. Please, Professor. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you, Rena. If I pronounce your name correctly, but it's true that in reality, your career path or your promotion, really a lot of things depends on your interpersonal skill. Okay, or even more directly, the line of authority, like who your boss is. It's true. So here we are talking about the soft skill. And but then the thing is that there are actually there are some people, there are some studies done. I don't know if you have you heard about, it's called social network. It's literally a network, but it's talking about they're discussing about social media, how one person related to the other, but they are actually using it. And I'm actually thinking of using that concept as to evaluate how exactly each person in terms of workplace, who is related to who. Okay, so and we're just in IE, we're trying to quantify the situation you're talking about, instead of just doing a more qualitative, like even if it is the bonding. Okay, we're trying to put this bonding into a more like a number figure, like more able to measure kind of thing. So I must say that I agree with you that whether you get a promotion or you get what performance check or thumbs up or something, it really depends on how close you are with your boss or your colleague and all that. But there's another thing I want to say is that the job analysis today I was mentioned here is really focused on the pay structure. So all the job analysis that we're talking about, or even there's one thing I didn't, I cut short today, is called competence model. It's actually another aspect. In terms of job analysis, we focus more on the job, but then competence model here is focused more on the worker. So here we use two. But then at the end, we're trying to give out a pay structure or incentive. So to the company, I'm using this two tool to be able to evaluate, to give my employee the salary, the wage structure, how I do it. So right now, what we were talking about is actually more of from the company side. It's like how or what should I pay you? So that I can encourage or attract more talents or something like that. Retention, we call employee retention and so on. Yeah. But whereas for us, like employee, the personal side, what we need to measure is the bonding of how with our colleagues and with our advisor, supervisor, or whatever. Yeah. So I hope I answer your questions.
Thank you very much. This is also answering my questions because yeah, we know that the social network, as you mentioned previously, is really it's really complicated, but it's work. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very interesting topic. I've just finished one book on social networks, and they're actually using it to analyze. You know how everybody have Facebook or Instagram, right? So you are a friend of me and I'm a friend of that. And so they are actually study done by that, and they're trying to map out the family things. So I had that research ideas thought. So I read that books. I'm half done, not yet, but I find it's quite interesting already. Yeah. So. Yep.
Thank you very much for your point of view, Professor. And Dr. Ronald, thank you very much for the opportunity. Back to you.
Okay, thank you, Rainer, for the question.
Thank you too. Very good questions. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, any other question from the students? Please, Indonesian students. Okay, maybe Vietnamese students. Maybe I have to point one student from Indonesia, so it's Susai. Susai. Okay, Philbert. Any question, Philbert?
So far, no, sir.
No, sir. It's clear. Okay. Any other? Okay, maybe from Vietnamese. Lee Duy Tan. Any questions? Hello, Lee.
I don't think I have any questions.
So here, okay.
Okay.
Don't be shy.
So all of them are, what year are they? Are they second, third?
Maybe most of third. I think
third year.
Yeah,
okay.
3 years.
Okay. So are they thinking of going to further study, or they are looking for getting a industry experience first?
I don't know.
Oh, you don't know
maybe,
yet.
Maybe
Okay.
maybe some of them maybe want to. We have a collaboration with CYCU 3+1+1.
Oh, okay.
So we finish 3 years in Atmajaya and then continue pursue the study 2 years in CYCU and got the master degree from CYCU.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
I got
we
it.
have.
Yes.
Yeah, we have signed with Professor Xiang, Professor Xiang and Professor Benny.
Okay.
Yeah, Professor
Okay.
Wang.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, since 2000 and actually in the collaboration since 2019, but because of due of the pandemic, so pending that.
Yeah, pandemic.
Yes.
Change everything actually.
Yes.
I think the pandemic really gets us to really think, because well, in terms of this, right, especially the HR, I've just in the past I was more into just lecturing until I came to CYCU and actually working on some like a human workforce management or even doing some research. I think it's very interesting because it really helps me too myself to rethink what exactly work is, because work and job is slightly different, and how you can for you or for everybody or for me, like I was fortunate enough to know what I'm good at. That's what we call competence, right? Competence. Yeah. And I think if in the future anybody like us, we're looking for a job or for a company, we probably want to think what competency do I have to bring to the company, because that's clearly what they think of us. Like what can we offer to the company? So that's why they're hiring us. So next week, actually, I will be I forgot the topic, but it's interesting because I'll be showing you the Google, like Google company. They're big. If I have time, I'll show you guys how their interview question is. They're very challenging. Very interesting, but very challenging.
Yes.
Yeah.
For next week, employee recruitment, selection, and placement.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
this is
So
the
the
topic.
selection part. Yes.
Yes, the
So from
selection
the
part.
company point of view, yeah, we will be looking at that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Gregorius, any questions? Hello, Gregorius.
So far I have no questions, sir.
No question. You can also ask question about the CYCU also. If you interest to pursue to continue study in CYCU, you can also ask Professor Angela about the environment, the study environment also.
Oh yeah. Yeah. If you
Yeah.
guys have any questions, if you're thinking of studying abroad, you know,
Yeah.
and that's a good opportunity to ask me, because I've studied in, basically I left Taiwan when I was high school, so
Oh.
I was in North America all this time till, you know, like till my master, and I just came back Taiwan for fun, and I got my job. So it was a fluke, I must say. So yeah. So if you're interested in knowing what exactly like in studying abroad,
Yes.
you know, you're welcome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure Ron will share with you too. Right?
Yeah, right.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, any questions? Emily? Hello, Emily.
Yes, sir.
Yes, any question? You have to ask question maybe for Professor Angela.
For now, I don't have any questions.
You don't
sir.
have. Okay. Elvina.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Any questions?
No, it's clear, sir.
It's clear. It's so clear. Okay. Okay. Friska?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Any questions?
I also don't have any
You don't have.
questions.
Don't be shy.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Brian. Michael Brian. Hello, Brian.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
No.
Huh?
No, I have no questions, sir.
No questions. Okay. Maybe maybe students, maybe you have a maybe idea to for your final projects, yeah, related with human resource, like my experience with my students, that I utilize the data analytic, the big data from the internet, from the LinkedIn, from the other job vacancy, like a job seeker, or I don't jobs DB, maybe like that one. Yeah, jobs DB, job street. Okay, maybe I don't know, in Taiwan have like a job portal.
Yes, we have
Yes,
a data bank, and
data bank.
I would say you guys can find, like in our government, we have an open source platform that it actually shows all the different job and then the salary even.
And also a salary, yeah.
Yeah, salary and then their ages and all that. And it was very comprehensive, actually. It's all the way, like all these years, just by looking at the salary pay structural and the age and so on. There's a lot of things you can find out.
Only a Taiwanese companies or also multinational companies?
That's more like a job oriented, not so much of the company. The company are limited, but then because it's a government platform, so it focuses more on specific type of jobs, so down to white collars, blue collars, and even
like maybe the Taiwan government like manage the minimum salary, or
oh yeah, and detail sort of, for example, there's people who are the technician, like any kind of technician, and or even for example, like flight attendants salary, or banker, or even operator. Those ones are very detailed, I must say. I yeah, I don't know if you guys or, people from your country or like Vietnam or Indonesia government, do you guys have an open like a source platform like that? Because in Taiwan, they start have this kind of things just not long ago either. Yeah.
Okay.
And I think it's very important. And the US even have some. The US Statistical Department, they even have that data source too. And then I remember there's a few years ago when I was checking it out, it's very interesting because they actually plot it as to very obvious. It's like the different education have different pay, minimum pay monthly. It's so obvious, like a bachelor, they say university graduate, right? And postgraduate or even high school. Yeah. Yeah. Even United States, yeah, has that. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Other questions? Actually, Indonesian government arrange about the minimum wage every maybe Jakarta city have a different like province and city, yeah, for the minimum wage.
So your minimum wage is actually different according to different places?
Yes,
Oh,
different
really?
province and also
Wow.
city, because maybe the expenses, yeah, for one city and the
Yes.
daily expenses, the daily life expenses
Yes.
is different,
Well,
right?
it's interesting that you bring it up because minimum wage, how to decide on that's for me personally, I think it's a more of an economic issue as well.
Yes.
Because in the economics, like I'm teaching economics too, and there is one part that we're talking about labor industry, and we have a demand and all that. So the minimum wage actually is, I don't know if you guys raise it or not, but there is one study showed that if you raise the minimum wage, it actually will not hurt the GDP, not the economic growth. There's no link. It's actually a study done in the United States just recently. So I was really happy to see that. I was thinking, so the government should raise the minimum wage, and we did. So Taiwanese government just announced it a few weeks ago. So we raised our minimum wage.
Minimum wage. Okay.
Yeah. So.
Okay. Okay. Any question? Maybe from Vietnamese students. Hello. Nguyen Tăng Chuong. Hello, Nguyen Tăng Chuong. Okay, I think there's no response.
Sir, can I have a question?
Yes. Litundai. Tuitan. Sorry. Okay, please.
What type of question would job analysis questionnaire usually include in the interview and the example answer?
What type of questions? Yes.
Yeah. Does the interviewer usually include in the interview? Yeah.
Job analysis, right?
Yes.
Okay. Typical ones are more specifically, if you remember, I was showing you in the PPT that the what we call the PAQ, the position analysis questionnaire. That's a very traditional one in which we actually break into several things. So we're looking at the job in terms of many different aspects. So one of the example I just gave it to you is that for every job, we need to have an input information, like we need to gather information. So some information depends on your job. If you are an administrative clerk, so your information are more of a paper or even computer or so on. So it really depends on the type of industry you're working on and stuff. So that's why the PAQ standard is very popular to use. Otherwise, people normally, they don't come up with their own questionnaire unless it's a focus group kind of thing. Then in that, it's very case specific. Yeah. So otherwise, we usually use that PAQ one. And you can actually go Google and then just type that, the keyword. I can just drop a note on the message. Okay. So you can actually find out. There are some free examples and you can follow that. Yeah.
Thank you, Miss.
You're welcome.
Okay. Thank you, Lei Tudang, for the question and Professor Angela for the answer. Any other questions? I hope there's question from Indonesian students here.
So
Not from Rainer. Rainer is graduate, already graduated from industrial engineering, and now he's a master business administration students.
Oh, okay.
Yes, in Atmajaya.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, I just dropped down the title for that questionnaire.
Okay.
Yeah, so everybody can just, if you're interested, you can just go Google and type this keyword, and you can search, and you can even key, say, free samples.
Template, like a template. There is there is a template for the
template.
Yes.
Yeah, or like a free, you can say free samples or something. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, that's a bell ring that you are familiar, Ronald. I hope you didn't hear it though.
Yeah. A bell ring from the, I don't know the bell ring. What type of ring? Bell ring.
You mean the bell ring?
Yes.
Dun, 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 something like that, I think.
Oh, okay. Yes, I remember.
It's not the garbage truck things.
Yeah, I think the garbage.
It's so typical, right?
Yes.
Like you've ever been in Taiwan, you definitely know that it's supposed to be a very nice orchestra, like music, but then we use it as a garbage truck.
Yes. I think every 6 o'clock in the evening, right?
It depends. It varies.
Okay.
Yes, it varies. But it's a good example. Even the garbage truck, okay, like in Taiwan, in order to apply for this job, like garbage collector,
yes,
I can share one of experience I had, because I lived in Canada for many years, and the garbage collector is very different from the one in Taiwan. So I was very surprised in Taiwan. And in North America, basically it's one person per truck. They don't, in Canada, and that everything is automation.
Automatic. Oh, okay.
Yes. So, but in Taiwan, if you go on the route to collect, basically you need a driver and you need 2 collectors.
Yes.
And but in Taiwan, it is still a very hot job. A lot of people wants to get in. And you know how you get qualified, how they test it? Every year, thousands of people, like in your case, by province, okay, that people try to apply it. So the way how they try to evaluate, this is one thing that you guys can actually think of. How can you make sure that you are hiring a garbage collector that is capable? So you can think, right?
Yeah.
So if this kind of job position in the North America, okay, then because I said everything's automation, so what kind of job skill or knowledge that you need? But in Taiwan, when you are applying for this kind of job, one of the tests that you need is a physical test. Well, this is what I heard, okay? Because I was one of my friends, she is actually one of the government in Tainan. So she was telling me that every year it was like 5,000. So the 5,000 people, but they are only hired for 200 people. That's a lot already, okay? But then they need to carrying I think what's 2 kilo, 2 kilo, or I don't know if I remember correctly, but it's a very heavy sandbag that they need to run back and forth, and then their timing.
Okay, like competition, right?
Yes, yes. But then my question was, how does that related to your, job collecting, the heaviness and stuff? So anyway, I think that's a very interesting way of seeing it. That's related to job analysis. You need to really look into different kind of job, what kind of skill they need, and how you set it up so that when you are screening or selecting people, they really qualify. So this is just one way, and it depends on different country. So in Canada, they don't need to lift up 2 kilo bag and then running around. They don't need it. So
yeah.
But
Because
then,
automatic truck, or right? Because in Canada, more modern automatic.
Yeah, everything automatic. So what they need to learn, what they need to test is reading the instruction.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So are you able to operate and read the instruction?
Instruction, SOP, actually.
Yeah. Something like that. Yeah.
Okay. It's interesting.
Yep.
Garbage collector.
I know, even down to this small job, right?
Yes. But in Indonesia, I don't know. I don't think so. There is like a.
Oh, you guys no?
Because in Indonesia, maybe there is like a traditional garbage collector, like a small, what's that?
Oh, okay. Small, like private. It's like a private, because here in Taiwan it's public.
Manual, not some using a truck, but some also in the like residence use like what's that?
Oh, okay.
Chart, or I don't know.
Oh, that's really different then.
Yes.
See, every country is different.
Like chart, I don't know, chart, like manual
track,
chart. You have to push the chart.
Yes.
You have to push the garbage chart.
Yes. So I guess it's a culture things too. Yeah.
Okay. I think there is no question here, Professor Angela.
Okay,
that's so
okay.
clear. It's so clear.
Thank you.
So maybe I want to inform something to the students about for next. Okay, for the next lectures, by Professor Angela, the same time next Monday, November 15th, 1 EM in Indonesian time, or 2 PM in Taiwan time. The topic is about employee recruitment, selection, and placement. Okay, so I hope actually I have given a concept to the student before, so maybe you can share about the maybe cases, or about cases of Google cases or others.
Okay, sure.
Yes,
No problem. Yes.
So there's a lot like more discussion, or to trigger the discussion like that.
Okay, no problem. Yes.
Okay.
I'll do that. Okay, thank you.
Okay, in behalf of Department of Industrial Engineering, I like to say thank you to Professor Angela Chen for your sharings. We will see you. Oh, before we finish our lecture, maybe we have like a photo session first. Please, the student open the camera. Hello, for the students. Please open the camera. I will take the pictures. Okay. There are three pages. Okay, in the first, 1, 2, 3. Okay. And then the second. Okay, wait. 1, 2, 3 for the second. Okay. And then the last page. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, good. Thank you,
Thank you, Professor
everybody.
Angela. We
Yes,
see you again next week in the on
sure.
Monday, right? Okay.
Okay,
Thank
yeah.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Professor.
Bye.
You're welcome. Bye.
Thank you, Pak Ronald.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.